Good times. Good times.
자신이 이번 시즌 8차 소닉 스타리그에서는 챔피언이 될 수 있는 이런 그 능력이 있는 선수입니다.
그렇죠. 그래서 뭐 준비가 된 것 같고 박주현은 준비가 된 것 같고 자, 네 이상한 채팅들을 치시고 계시네요. 심포원입니다. 박주현 구성원의 첫 번째 경기 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 뜨거운 호흡 부탁드리겠습니다, 여러분.
Woo! Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. This is the grand finals. And here we go. I believe this is Wind and Cloud. Killer spawning as the yellow Zerg at the bottom right. Hiya will be the red Terran in the bottom left. So let me do the good old color switcheroo. So it looks like we've actually changed our racial alliances this time. Of course, in the 3rd, 4th place match, Sonic did in fact ally Sock, the Terran player. But now we're allying the Zerg. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think, in fact, probably more people are cheering for Hiya. I mean, you know, Killer's an awesome guy. He's got a lot of fans, but, you know, Hiya's just a baller. Actually, I don't know. It might be close. It might be close. Either way, hopefully this is really exciting. I mean, you know, TVZ is Hiya's best matchup, I believe, and Killer has kind of broken the mold of Afrika Zergs by actually having a winning record against Terrans. So yeah, I'm really hoping this goes to all 7 games, however long that takes. Actually, we're already almost 4 hours into the stream, so that'd be pretty crazy. We could go for like another 2 hours. It'd be awesome. Be crazy. Anyway, the Overlord of Killer, of course, is scouting vertically, going towards that closer natural. The second one looks like it's going to go out towards his hatchery here. Now, I think the second Overlord scouting... Oh, I thought he was just going to leave that to make a hatchery. He's actually gone to scout with that. Okay, so he's actually gone for a relatively early scout, actually. Yeah, that was actually too early for the hatchery, now that I think about it. I mean, normally, as we saw with Heroes match in 3rd, 4th place, it's like you can send the drone scout at the same time as the 12-hatch drone, and that's okay. But he's actually scouting pretty quickly here, so he's a little bit concerned. I mean, Hiya is a pretty crazy guy. I already said, you know, there's a reasonable chance of him nuke rushing one of these games, and of course, bunker rushing the first game is also certainly not out of the realm of possibility. So I think that's actually quite smart for Killer to check, or to be a little bit more careful perhaps in this game. I don't know if maybe that's just Killer's style. Some Zerg players do just like to go for like a 9-drone scout regardless, even though I don't think that's quite optimal. It does hurt your economy quite a bit to lose one of your initial drones like that, but it is obviously very safe. But we don't see anything crazy from Hiya here. He's going for the standard, presumably 1-rack expand. Oh, some nice moving shot here from Killer. Look at that beautiful moving shot. Really nice. See, he even just stops to mess up the drone. So there's the 3rd hatchery from Killer. Everything going as normal, and there's the 1-rack expand. Wow, so both players are just going to open completely standard this game. Not going to be like last series where, you know, Sock went for the 14cc. Nope. No silliness. I guess that shows a certain level of respect you have for your opponent. You're not going to try anything silly. And of course it is a best of 7, so there's still plenty of opportunities. Or sorry, no, it's a best of 5 now, excuse me. It was been changed. It was originally announced as a best of 7, but I'm pretty sure it's a best of 5 now. But yeah, still. Plenty of games to do unorthodox things. So we do see the second barracks now on the way for Hiya, and this is kind of what I was talking about in the last series as well, where, you know, you kind of either go for 2 racks and then gas, or you go fast engineering bait for +1. So it looks like Hiya's just going to go 2 racks academy, and that's fine. Meanwhile, one Zerg actually looks like he was just chilling in the mineral line. I thought he was going to go back and chase that SCB around. Typically, the Zerg player will just leave one link chasing this scouting SCB while poking out with the other links, and just to see what the Terran's doing. If they can't see anything, or, you know, once they see where the Terran is and how many Marines roughly there are, they can just move back and finish off the SCV. Looks like Killer actually only made 2 Zerglings though, so he does actually have 1 chasing the SCV now. It's just using a single Zergling to poke the Terran's front. You can see Hiya actually moved his Marines out a little bit far, so he almost actually caught that 1 Zergling, but wasn't quite able to. I think it's a bit unlucky actually. I think he should have got that. Anyway, this SCV continued to keep tabs on the Zerg base, going to see that lair timing. I mean, everything is pretty standard so far, so there's nothing too important it needs to see. I mean, if it stays if it stays alive for like another 30 seconds, it will let Hiya know that there's no lurkers and it is definitely Spire Tech incoming. But that's normally what you'd assume anyway. It looks like that actually has been killed now. I'm a little bit surprised with only one link chasing that the SCB died. Typically, you know, if the Terran player is paying attention, he should be able to micro that around for a little bit longer unless it gets surrounded by multiple links. So again, a little bit surprised by that. But that's okay, it's not the end of the world. We do have one creep colony going up the front already. And I think that's a Spire on the right side, in fact. Yep, that is indeed a Spire that's just now been planted. So it is just going to be 3-hatch Muta. And we shall see what that leads to here in the mid game. Hiya doing everything as normal. Getting some stim and some range. Getting some more Mariners. Hopefully the first medics are on the way now as well. And since he didn't go for a 5 racks opening, he's not going to be able to be too aggressive initially. He might poke out now, so basically he's going to poke out now, scare the Zerg a little bit, so his killer will see that with his first couple of lings, and then he'll build a few Sunkens to defend, and then Hiya will immediately move home, go back home. Or at least he should if killer, you know, defends properly. Occasionally you have random situations where like the Zerg just doesn't make Sunkens for some reason, and then just dies. But I don't think killer's not going to make that mistake. So he's going to build enough Sunkens, and even pick off a Marine here. Very nice use of that high ground. He attacked while at the top of the ramp there, just perfect little spot to grab a free Marine. That's actually moving pretty aggressively here, but again, with those speedlings out on the map, and with the Sunkens there, did Killer actually cancel one? Oh my god, he actually cancelled one. That's a little bit risky here. I think it's still enough with the lings to hold off this attack, but that's very, very dangerous. And he's actually using the lings now to try and pick off reinforcements. As you can see, there's a couple of fire bats. Oh my god! Hiya's going for the bust here, and there's no additional Zerglings. The Mutas, though, I think are morphing. I think the Mutas are in the eggs right now. But he could actually just lose the hatchery before they come out. Oh my god, Killer. I don't know why he canceled that third Sunken colony. That was a huge mistake there. If he just let that third Sunken finish, he would have been completely fine. Oh my god, and the thing is, even with only the 2 Sunkens, if he kept the Lings back to flank, he would have been fine as well. It looks like, though, the Mutas are out just in time. Can he save the natural hatchery? He's trying to chase down the Firebats, though. He has to save his drones because there's Firebats in the mineral line. He picks off the Firebats, but the hatchery falls. Killer. He looks like he's about to cry here. He just can't believe what's happened here. I can't believe what's happened. Canceling that 1 Sunken was a terrible idea. Oh my god, I just assumed that he would let it finish and he'd be fine. Really trying to be too greedy there, showing almost exactly the same thing as what we saw between Sok and the Hero. It's just, these Zergs, man, you just can't do that. You gotta make the Sunkens. It's funny because there's a bit of a mind game going on here where that poke by the Terran is such a common move to just pretend to attack and not actually attack to force Sunkens, that Zerg sometimes will be like, oh, well, clearly you're not actually attacking me, you're just trying to scare me into making Sunken, so I'm not going to fall for it. But if you don't, then you can just die, as we've seen, so... really, I mean, even if Killer cancelled it, but left his Zerglings at home to flank if he got busted, even that I would say would not be terrible, but to cancel 1 Sunken, and bring all his Lings away from his base to go pick off reinforcements, I think doing both of those was just far too dangerous. Like if you wanted to do the Zergling pick off on reinforcements, that's great. That's a pretty good move, but you have to let the third Sunken finish then. In that case. And it looks like there's plenty of turrets up as well, so Killer's really unable to get too much done with these Mutalisks. He's just rebuilding his natural now. You can actually see he was distance mining gas from the natural to that third hatchery just to get a little bit of extra gas to make more Mutas. You're in a really rough spot when you're distance mining gas. And yeah, Teal is just so far behind where he should be at this point. Really should have already, been getting a third base up and running, maybe getting some additional tech. But as it stands, he really can't afford anything right now. Looks like that hatchery finally has been rebuilt. So, yeah, Killer's going to poke around a little bit here, but man, look at that giant Marine force. He's going to try and use the high ground. Oh, losing a couple of those Mutas already. Notice that the Marines actually focus firing individual Mutas to be as effective as possible. Like these aren't just A-move Marines here. This is some serious micro going on. It looks like Killer trying to poke around here with some links supporting as well. Just try and maybe get a favorable pick off here, but that is a pretty scary group of medic Marine. There are some lurkers on the way though, so it looks like even though Killer lost that natural hat trick pretty quickly, he did still keep his tech on time. So he should have these lurkers out maybe to defend these Marines. Yes, he does have lurkers out in time, so he will be okay for the time being. Man, I think that was actually quite crucial there that he got those out. A lot of times in these situations, you know, Zergs will just panic and mess up all their timings and can just easily get picked off. But man, that is a very vulnerable location. If Hiya scans that, he can actually just kill it. And he's going to go for it. Hiya's going for it. Nice Marine spread. The Muta's coming in the back to defend, but those lurkers were way too exposed. However, more units coming out as well as Zerglings, and it looks like with the combined Mutilating, is it going to be enough? No, more Marines coming in from the back. Oh my god, Hiya with the reinforcements as well. There's still 2 lurkers there though, and Killer I think should pull them back a little bit further into his natural. He cannot leave them so exposed there, allowing the Terran to get a good arc like that. That was so easy for Hiya to set up beforehand and just go for it. Really needs to be careful with that lurker positioning, especially with not many supporting units left. He lost a good number of those lings and a couple of the mutas in that engagement as well, though that flank did save his life basically. Meanwhile, it looks like one random SCV is going to go out and try and look for the Zerg third base. Hiya knows that should be on the way, if not finished by now. Although, of course, the timings are, again, a little bit weird because of that opening. And looks like Lurka's poking forward again. Hiya, everything on hold position. That's actually pretty smart. If you don't have things on hold position, the mutas can actually bait your units into lurker fire. So yeah, you always got to be a little bit careful about that. Although conversely, you know, if you have stuff on hold position and the lurkers all just surround you, then you could be in big trouble as well. Anyway, Killer continues to do some pretty good muta micro, picking off some Marines. The tanks are there now though, and yeah, those lurkers. See, the thing is, even if those lurkers unburrow, the Marines will just run in and kill them. So it's kind of like, you know, they're caught between a rock and a hard place right here. The rock being the tanks, and the hard place being the Marines. If they stay burrowed, they die to the tanks. If they unburrow, they die to the Marines. So, you know, leaving them there might seem weird. It's like, oh, why didn't he unburrow and run away? Well, then the Marines would have stemmed in and killed it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just buys him an extra couple of seconds if he leaves them there anyway. And, well, oh man, still no hive tech on the way for Killer. I mean, that's understandable. He can't really afford it. But that means he's going to have to need to kill this force or severely damage it with the Muta Ling. Muta Lurker Ling. And here we go. He's moving in. Not the best angle, though, for the Lurkers. Marine's getting a decent concave, although he does pick off one of the siege tanks, but a second siege tank in the back is just going to be so annoying. These individual siege tanks coming in. Every time he picks one off, just another one replaces it. It's just so painful for Killer, and he's being forced back here. But you gotta say, I gotta say, having lost his natural so early, he is putting up a really good fight right here. He's got to start gas mining. It's like it's slightly inefficient. Has to use 4 drones there, but here we go. He's moving in once again. Going to pick off the siege tank. Going to pick off a lot of the Marines as well. It looks like he should be able to clear it up, but there's the irradiate on the mutas. But it looks like it's good split. Killer splits it out in time, and Hiya's force is suddenly looking not so scary. No longer any siege tanks, and the Marine force isn't that huge anymore. But look at how slow the hive tech is. Killer is just still stuck on the Lurker Link. He just needs to keep Hiya back here. But look at this, Hiya is actually going all the way back to his natural. He doesn't have a big enough force on the map to be safe anymore. Like, if he knows that if he has too small a force on the map and he gets surrounded by Muta Ling, he can lose the rest of his units. He's actually being pushed all the way back. I mean, this is actually amazing. I would have thought Killer would be dead by now, and yet somehow he's keeping Hiya back. I mean, he's not winning yet, but if he keeps this up, he will be in a decent position in this game. And look at this, the Muta Ling counterattack into Hiya's main. He's got to be careful, there's still a lot of turrets, but he's going to start picking off SEVs and even grabbing some free Marines that spawn from the barracks, and Hiya's not even sure what to do. He might even lose a vessel. He loses a single science vessel there, but it's an early science vessel. Those are very, very crucial. He's got 1 tank and 1 vessel with the Marines. The Lurkers are on the high ground here. They are on the top of the ramp. Looks like Hiya's trying to go around the side, though, but no, there's another Lurker in the back. Not going to let that happen. Killer, like a boss, is pulling this game back. I don't even understand how this is possible. He's killing so many things. Oh my god, he's got a 7 kill Ling of 5. He's got like 20, I don't even know. I can't do math. He had like 16 kills, I think, between those 3 Zerglings. An insane amount of SCV kills, and he's now cleared up the attack at the front. Killer with a big Lurker Ling force, but there's a big Marine force moving towards his 3rd base. And this is not the best engagement angle. It's a little bit of a funnel there between those high grounds. He's got to be careful how he engages. Still, he's not out of the woods yet. He's still waiting on those defilers, but he is now has gone from being basically dead to being in a decent position. He is actually completely fine right now. With that many lurkers and no tanks in that army, I don't think he's in any significant danger. But he still has to be careful. The Marines are moving around the top side. The lurkers need to reposition to the bottom of that ramp, so the Marines can't run down it so easily. It looks like Killer, though, might just be going for a flank attack from the back. Here we go. The Marines are moving in. The lurkers need to move in now. He needs to go now. Killer's moving in. The Scourge are moving in as well. The Scourge get picked off, but there are the lurkerling. Drones are dying, but so are Marines, and the Marines are stuck. They're stuck at the top of the ramp, but no, so the Marines are going to run down. Killer not in the best position. He should have positioned 2 lurkers at the bottom of the ramp. The Marines are just going to run around, run away from the lurkers, and they're going to pick off this 3rd base, I think. Killer lost all the drones here. His lurkers cannot afford to run down the ramp even, or they will just get slaughtered by the Marines. Killer having to sacrifice that 3rd base, a big mistake there. If he just positioned 2 or 3 lurkers at the bottom of the ramp, he would have been fine. I don't know why he didn't do that. I guess he didn't see the army moving there or something, but for some reason Hiya has a 3rd command center that's like stopped construction. I have no idea why that is not building or something. I don't know how that happened, but it looks like some more lurkers are coming over here. It looks like Killer is going to be able to pick off the rest of the force, but he's back down to 2 bases, and a 2-base Zerg is not going to survive long against a 2-base Terran. Even if he has Hive Tech, it's going to be so extraordinarily difficult. However, he did do a lot of economic damage with those early lings. I mean, those 3 lings, you know, 16, 17 SCV kills. I'm not sure what kind of SCV count is looking like in Hiya's base, but he's moving out once again. He's got no medics on the ground for some reason. They must all be in the dropships. And whoa, a couple of random vessels moving out here. Lucky for Hiya, there's actually no Scourge. Did he just irradiate a Zergling? And oh, GG from Killer. He doesn't have enough. He lost his 3rd base. Man, it looks so much like he would come back. You can see on Hiya's face he knows that he actually could have lost that game despite that opening.